2017, the German Darts Championship here in Hildesheim, and the first of 4 German players in action on this Friday, first day of the tournament. Stefan Stoyke taking on John Bowles, the Bulldog. No doubt who the crowd are supporting, although it was a pretty quick turnaround from booing John Bowles to dancing to Gangnam Style. Rob Malarkey joins me, Chris Murphy, in the commentary box for this one.
Yeah, easy to make a case for John Bowles here, but let's not forget Stefan Stoyke had a very eye-catching win over Max Hopp in qualifying last night. He beat him 6-1. The German number 1 was really fancied to come through that without too much drama, but Hopp was bitterly disappointed last night, and on that evidence you have to give Stoyke a fighting chance here. He was a recent competitor in Hildesheim. He lost 6-2 to Andy Smith in the first round here last October in what was his second European Tour appearance of the year. Bowles, on the other hand, made just 1 appearance in Europe last year. That was in the German Masters, and he lost that match against Adrian Lewis in the second round, having come through the first round. So Stoyke has slightly more European pedigree as far as last year is concerned.
First leg, John, throw first. Game on!
But let's not forget Bowles was the man who accounted for Barney in qualifying as well. 6-4 in the third round of qualifying, having already seen off Matt Clark
100.
and Lee Bryant. So a case to be made for either here, I think.
Yeah, that one of the rule changes that we alluded to earlier on. Barney allowed to attempt the UK qualifier by virtue of him playing in the Premier League, just to make things a little bit easier. Well, it would have been impossible for him to qualify otherwise. Yeah. Bear in mind the qualifiers were played last night while Raymond van Barneveld was beating Michael van Gerwen in Manchester.
Yeah, final match of the night. Barney doing the business.
But yeah, Stoyke, it's his 5th
85.
European Tour appearance in total. Just 1 win so far. That was against Mark Frost at the European Darts Open last year. Went on to lose to Stephen Bunting in the second round.
100.
We could have had we know how good a player John Bowles can be. Just ask Gary Anderson after that World Championship game a few years ago. But Stoyke could have had a more difficult draw, couldn't he?
140.
Yeah, certainly. And much riding on his shoulders as one of the 4 German qualifiers. As you mentioned at the outset, 2 on stage tonight. Robert Allenstein against Darren Johnson. Bernd Roy is up against Jermaine Watimena, and then later this afternoon we have Martin Schindler up against the Brazilian
41.
debutant Diogo Portela, who is in the practice room at the moment in a yellow, green and blue shirt. New shirt, new logo.
97
for Diogo.
Yeah, the brilliant Brazilian making his bow on the European Tour. We'll see him later on.
100. John, you require 74.
Right now, though, the former rugby player trying to get the first leg on the board.
Tops he wants.
34.
Stoyke just has half a
Stefan,
chance
you
here
require
now.
94.
Well, yeah, he went the bull route to try and guarantee himself at least that target. It didn't quite work out for Stefan.
86.
Oh.
John, you require 40.
In the end he made an impression, but it might not count for much. Bowles with 2 more darts in hand for double 20.
Game Sean, the first leg. John Bowles, second leg, Stefan to throw first. Game on.
Winner of this, by the way, to face Ian White in round 2 tomorrow. White is seeded 8 here. This will get the crowd going.
Winner!
Well, you've got to hand it to our production team. They always seem to predict those 180s at just the right time, pull out that camera angle. How do they know?
It's almost like they've been into the future by 3 or 4 seconds and they report back. Yeah, it's a good angle anyway, just to follow the trajectory of the dart.
The interesting seem very, very thin, the points on Stefan Stoyke's darts. We do see more and more players playing with those kind of needle points. The idea behind it is that there's more room in the board where they've landed.
140. 140.
Well, this is a very good leg, this, from Stoyke. On for an 11-dart leg.
Yeah, ton left after 9.
Stefan, you require 100.
So treble 20 for double thereof. It's a good guide to go underneath now.
90.
Oh, he didn't want to end up there.
Yeah, that's the danger, but he's got something in hand here with Bowles on 2-on-6, and he's not making any inroads here either with 2 5s back-to-back, so Stoyke has an extra security
30.
blanket here.
Stefan, you require 10.
It looks like he's going straight for the double 5. It's a very good guide, isn't it?
Well, he's nudged the wire on that one, and that's come inside, and he's split it. Now that's the
6 score.
That's the danger. But he will be back. He's got room for manoeuvre here. But Bowles is looking to apply a fair amount of pressure.
130.
Well, sometimes
Stefan, you require 4.
players decide to stay there and go for the 180 just to get the crowd
momentum,
going,
yeah.
and put him under pressure. Didn't choose to do that, and Stoyke
Stefan Stoyke
gets his first leg on the board, much to the delight
first.
of the German crowd.
Yeah, so 2 holes of throw to kick things off here. Stoyke
60.
off and running. That's the first objective for the qualifiers, or the German qualifiers, just to try and get the crowd on side. And the longer it goes on without a leg on the board, the more the tension creeps in.
100.
We've seen players capitulate when there is that weight of expectation on them, the host nation.
Well, you mentioned that he beat Max Hopp. He's normally the big hope for the German darts fans. And Stoyke beat him 6-1 in qualifying for this last night. As we haven't got a resident ex-dart player expert, I'm going to put you on the spot, Rob, and ask you which of the 4 Germans do you think has got the best chance of progressing?
52.
That is a really tough question. I would have to say Schindler. He certainly looks the more capable of winning his first round match, and he's had some encouraging, shall we say, experiences under his belt as well of late.
Yeah, well, playing on the Pro Tour now as well, certainly.
Came through Q School, didn't he?
Yeah.
As well, so, yeah.
So we've seen him put in some good performances
60.
already this year, obviously away from the stage, but he's getting used to it, isn't he,
Yeah.
Martin Schindler? And I wouldn't make you far wrong with that prediction.
95.
It's just that regularity of playing competitive darts is just on that sort of in that sort of arena is just priceless, I think.
And also he's playing a guy who's
95.
inexperienced.
Yeah, certainly. Allenstein up against Johnson. Johnson, a man, as we said before, beating Michael van Gerwen recently. Royth up against Wassermaner, who's very unplayable.
165.
Given his style, his very machine gun fire style.
Well, that was a perfect visit from John Bowles, 165 to leave tops.
40. John, you require 40.
Looking for a third.
Game
Comfortable
shot,
hold
the
of throw.
third leg. John Bowles, full flag, Stefan to throw first.
Well, Bowles will take the treatment from the crowd all in his stride, I think, today. 1 or 2 boos there as he retrieved his darts.
60.
Yeah, it's not too bad at the moment, but perhaps if he gets towards the finishing line, he might hear a bit of vocal interference, shall we say. But it's not putting him off now.
140.
Richie Corner, Paul Harvey and David Pallett already through. It's tomorrow's second round. That's where
60.
the seeded players join us. The likes of Michael van Gerwen and Peter Wright and James Wade all flying across from Manchester, from Premier League to European Tour. Some players choose not to do that, but Van Gerwen and Wright are 2 that invariably turn up for these events.
Yeah. Well, Wright is such a popular figure over here as well. Huge fans' favourite with the German crowd. And
100.
perhaps overdue another European Tour success as well. Has gone very close of late, certainly last year. Just had that misfortune of coming up against Van Gerwen every time, but he is beatable.
That was unlucky from Bowles. Batted into the dart. That's a kind of
120.
moral 180.
I like that. The moral 180 with points on the floor. But yeah, he's in a good position to break it. Stoyke just struggling to
60.
keep up with Bowles
Joker
here.
require 140.
Bowles down to a finish of 141 on the Stoyke throw.
Well, Van Barneveld missed the double 12 for this finish last night for the darting Holy Grail.
60.
We won't see the Dutch great here. Didn't qualify because John Bowles knocked him out.
100. John, you require 81.
Yeah, Barney had that bold attempt to qualify for the European Championship in the penultimate European Tour event of last year. He was really chasing the money, but ultimately came up short.
Stefan, you require
Well, it was a 1-4-1, wasn't it, against Simon Whitlock? But
Yeah, it was a brilliant moment.
really got his hopes going. Now Stoyke's got hopes of a 1-2-1. He wants double 14, but he's not sure what he wants. He is allowed to ask the referee. Well, he worked it out, and he got there in the end. 1-2-1 check out for Stoyke.
Big flag John to throw first.
Well, have you ever seen anything like that?
Well, that will do him the world of good, because Bowles was waiting in the wings on 25 there.
82.
So a 1-2-1 checkout, all well and good, but under pressure it will feel like a lot more than that to him.
Perhaps not knowing in the end, just cut it down. It was kind of one dart double 14 rather than the full combination by the time he actually ended up chucking it.
There's a danger sometimes when you have too much time and you think about it too much, you can lose your way.
86.
Yeah, he took it out very well indeed.
It must tell you though that he's going for the treble 11, but he's kind of expecting to miss because he's thinking 11 bull.
Yeah.
Hits the treble 11, didn't know what he wanted.
100.
Yeah, that's the mindset of a player like Stoyke. And maybe that's the difference between the elite and the rest of the field, I suppose, as well.
There's a few names to watch out for this weekend. One in particular I'm going to throw out there is Simon Whitlock, who's been on a fine run of form on the Pro Tour. Whitlock had won 5 floor events in as many months.
100.
Really, those have been shared out, with the odd exception, they've been shared out between Michael van Gerwen, Peter Wright and Simon Whitlock in the last 6 months or so. And Norris has got one, Gary Anderson's got
45.
one, but it'll be interesting to see if that form can be transferred onto the stage.
Yeah, Whitlock's renaissance, it really took hold at the end of last year in October or so when he beat Van Gerwen in the Players' Championship, and I think from that moment on he's really just rediscovered something. He's been saying for ages how, he feels as though he's back to his best, but didn't really prove it on a consistent basis, but he's starting to do that now, and he just looks full of confidence and full of beans as well. Anyway, Bowles down to double 4 here for a 3-2 lead to maintain the sequence of 5 successive, or it would be 5 successive holes of throw, but hang on just a moment.
No score.
And maybe that sequence will end here.
Well, he'd rather be coming back for double 4 than double 1, but will he be coming back at all?
Well, 1-2-1 was not a problem in the end. 42 remaining here for Stoyke, so 10 double 16 he wants.
67.
Not to be.
Well, he was having to work it out again after the first start there. You could see him muttering the mathematics to himself. Could come a cropper in the long run with that.
That's further away.
Game shot in the 5th
Bowles silences the crowd with the final dart in hand. And it is a 5th successive hold of throw for John Bowles there. 3-2 he leads. Stoyke has had a couple of opportunities just to steal a march here, but he finds himself trailing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a battle, isn't it? A bit of a wrestling match so far.
Not as much as a battle as that second match of the day between Harvey and Meikle. That was a real eye-catching performance from Harvey. Best match of the day so far for me.
Certainly in terms of quality.
95.
And his stats will take some topping today as well.
Yeah, the first ton topping average of this year's European Tour. 12 events this year, by the way.
140.
Extended by a couple for 2017. Ever growing, ever expanding.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, the European Tour events carries its own order of merit as far as European Championship qualification is concerned. Last year, when there were just 10 events, £8,500 was ultimately enough to get you into the top 32 and a place in Hasselt in Belgium at the end of October.
100.
Jamie Caven was left to sweat over the final weekend, but he just about made it through. So £8,500. I suspect this time around it will be maybe 12,000 or there or thereabouts, but we'll
39.
obviously know more as the season goes on.
Yeah, and those decisions from the kind of elite players, whether they're going to play in these events or not, are very interesting, because remember Marnell left it too late, as
Adrian Lewis
mentioned
didn't
before.
qualify either.
Lewis missed out. Phil Taylor produced a smash and grab raid and won the tournament in Vienna.
And that was enough.
Place.
More than enough.
Certainly was, but the likes of Taylor probably won't appear in these events this year. He may attempt to do what he did last year. Gary Anderson, Adrian Lewis, not at this one. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the season.
Well, Anderson has since re-emerged into the top 16 on the Pro Tour order of merit, so he won't have to go through qualifying, I assume, for the 3 and 4, if he stays there, that is. Obviously, it depends when the cut-off point is for the order of merit. Of
yeah,
course.
and you'd think those decisions right now are a lot to do with being in the Premier League, so maybe it depends where he is when the Premier League's over and done with.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ball's now looking for a break. Will be the first one. 888.
Game shot in the 6th leg. Jumbo.
First break of the match.
7th leg, John the throat first. Game on.
Not quite pin drop status, but it certainly has prompted the crowd to just quieten down a little bit.
Could be the key moment, slipping away for Stoyke.
Consolidates here for a 5-2 lead, and then all of a sudden it will look a long way back.
$41.
And Stoyke just not finding the big numbers at the moment either. Bowles, on the other hand, as he strays into the treble 5. Recovers well with treble 19. Bowles, on the other hand, is finding the big numbers.
Well, he's actually got metal screws in his arm, John Bowles, an injury that he sustained when he was playing rugby. He had to have metal screws pinned in his arm. I wonder if he's had them put in just the right place so he can throw the same every time. Just do us a favour, Doc.
Yeah, I need a metronomic rhythm for a future career I've got planned.
Doing a bit of a trend, isn't it? Rugby to darts, Gerwyn Price.
I mean, that's an astonishing story, I think. Gerwyn Price, the transition he's made
60.
in such a short space of time is very, very impressive indeed. Bowles cruising here, 200 plus minus these, so Stoyke is making a big indentation. Still not down to a finish, so Bowles has stuff in hand here.
Down the board. Oh,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, went wide, looking to tidy up.
45.
Would have left double 18, but anyway, he will be back.
He may only get one dart at double, so any pressure here will be welcome.
99. Junior requires 68. Game shot in the 7th leg.
And it's
Jumbos, 8th leg,
not quite
7
game over.
First. Game on.
But it does look like a long, long way back now for Stefan Stoyke. Just needed to stay in contention for as long as possible, didn't he, really? It was always, not winning the bull off behind the stage. Always chasing the tail of Bowles. And that one break has really just done all the damage.
Yeah, very important, because having won the bull, getting the break first just makes it so much harder. Stoyke then has to break twice.
And it's just that psychology, isn't it, when the scoreboard is
60.
A difference of 3. Only one break, but yeah, it seems so much more damaging than that. Ryan de Vrede and Christoph Ratajski on stage next for you. A cosmopolitan lineup for you in the next match. Christoph Ratajski, as we said earlier, coming through qualifying in
41.
the Eastern European qualifiers, winning all 3 over the weekend at the end of February in Budapest. So he'll be back in Jena for the 2nd European Tour event of the year, and he'll be back with us for the 3rd European Tour event of the year towards the end of April as well.
100.
Just saying, he could effectively do that all the way through the season.
Well, it's good money as well for the first round losers here. Get £1,000 in the
55.
pocket and on the ranking.
So he could almost effectively secure a European Championship place just by winning the qualifiers. He's won 3 so far. Who's to say he won't add more
60.
to his CV this year?
Well, John Ball's potentially 6 away, but Stefan Stoyke will be first to a finish. And it's a very handy one as well.
140.
Usual route is 25 for tops. He doesn't want to get involved
60.
in hitting the bullseye with this first
Stefan
start.
requires 65.
Oh, he went for the treble 11. Don't mind that.
Double 18 then.
29.
Yeah, the body
Johnny
language
require
tells its own story.
121.
Now then. Bull for the Bulldog. Oh, and there it is.
And
What a way to win it.
Jumbo.
Just wasn't to be for the German Stefan Stoyke. John Bowles with a professional display. Bullied him really up there, got the break and just pulled away from there. John Bowles, the Bulldog, through to the next round. Stoyke's hopes are ended. There's 3 more German hopes in the tournament. We'll hear from John Bowles in a few moments' time, and then we'll be back with the remaining 4 games of action this afternoon here in Hildesheim at European Tour 1.
Für Stefan. Es hat nicht ganz gereicht gegen einen sehr erfahrenen Spieler bei der PDC. Nicht der ganz große Name, aber auch schon mal bei der WM einiges gerissen. John. Congratulations, John. That was a good one at the end. The bullseye finish. Happy with your game?
That was probably the the highest score I think yet all night, really. But I'm happy with it because it got me over the line. And I've been messing about on doubles early doors, and you need to see it off quite early, really.
And sometimes it's dangerous to play a German guy because of the crowd, right?
Yeah, it's normally good, and you have a nice little bit of banter with the guys. And obviously, I'm the British Bulldog, and the German guys give me a little bit of stick, which I really love, to tell you the truth.
Ian White is the next one. We all know how good he is. How are the chances to win that match?
Yeah, I've got every chance. If I come up and play me darts that I can play, I can beat anybody in the world. And I've proven in the past that I can beat these guys. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, we too. Thank you very much. John Bowles.